Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're tackling a really interesting question. What about a company generating a lot of buzz in the energy world? Is Oklo a good time to buy now?
Yeah, it's more than just looking at a stock chart, isn't it? It's really about trying to understand where energy might be heading.
Exactly. And as we unpack Oklo's situation, we'd love for you to subscribe, like this discussion, maybe leave a comment.
Definitely. And, if there's another company you're curious about, let us know below. We're always looking for ideas.
Okay, so for today, we've looked at quite a few sources. Our mission, really, is to filter out the noise. We want to give you a clear view of where Oklo stands right now, where it's aiming to go, and importantly, the risks involved for this advanced nuclear player.
Right. And Oklo is really pushing the boundaries. It's an early stage company focusing on advanced fission nuclear energy. We're talking compact reactors, but also, and this is key, fuel recycling.
That recycling piece feels pretty significant.
It really is. Their vision is to be the first mover, basically, in commercializing microreactors in the U.S. And that nuclear waste recycling capability, that could be a huge advantage economically, environmentally, even with regulations. It could change the whole game for nuclear power.
But that brings us straight to the challenge, doesn't it? How on earth do you value a company that's building something for a future that isn't quite here yet?
That is the million-dollar question. Or in this case, maybe the $10 billion question.
Exactly. Because when you look at their current financials, that challenge just stares you right in the face. Our sources are pretty clear. Oklo is definitely pre-commercial. They're not bringing in meaningful revenue right now. They're trailing 12 months net income. It's negative, about $56.8 million. And EPS is negative 45 cents.
And those numbers are critical context for anyone thinking about investing. Analysts, they don't see real revenue hitting until fiscal 27. They're projecting maybe around 16 million then.
16 million in 27. Okay.
And the first profit per share, that's projected for fiscal 29, maybe 20 cents a share.
Wow. So we're talking years, a significant lead time before they're expected to be cash flow positive.
Years. And for FY24, the estimate for loss from operations is somewhere between $40 and $50 million, with a cash burn projection for the same period of 35 to 45 million.
Okay, so considerable burn, no profits on the immediate horizon. But it also has this huge market cap, around $10.28 billion as of early September.
Right.
And here's the counterpoint to those negative numbers. They apparently have enough cash. Enough to fund operations for at least 7 years at that projected burn rate.
That's a key point.
And our sources also say no significant debt reported in the summaries we saw.
That strong cash position is definitely a big positive, especially for a company at this early stage in a field that just eats capital. It gives them a really substantial runway to, develop and actually deploy their tech. But that $10.28 billion market cap, for a company years away from revenue, let alone profit, that's not just a number. It means the market is placing a massive bet, almost entirely on future success breakthroughs, smooth execution, widespread adoption.
So the valuation itself becomes a risk.
Exactly. A very significant risk factor if anything goes wrong or gets delayed.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, okay, translating this high-stakes situation into the stock's behavior.
Sure.
What have the markets actually been doing? What are they telling us?
Well, the stocks movement has been pretty wild. The 52-week range is huge, from $5.75 up to $85.35.
Wow.
As of September 5th, it was trading around $69.70, roughly $69.88. And a key thing, technically, the price right now is above both its 50-day and 200-day simple moving averages.
Which usually suggests, what, a positive trend.
Yeah. Generally, yeah. A positive intermediate trend. Looking at other indicators, the 14-day RSI that measures price momentum is pretty neutral, around 51. But things like the MASD and the Awesome Oscillator, which also track momentum and trend, they're showing sort of mild bullish signals.
Okay, mild bullish signals there.
Right.
But this next point really kind of jumps out, the year-to-date performance.
Oh, yeah.
The stock is up, what, a staggering 265% compared to the S&P 500's 10% gain? That's like huge.
It's absolutely massive performance, but like you often see with these high-growth early companies, it comes with high volatility. The average daily move is about 5.5%. That's quite high for the sector.
There's high returns, high volatility. And while those momentum indicators lean bullish, it's interesting, the overall market sentiment, look at the Fear and Greed Index, It's actually cautious. It's sitting at 39, indicating fear.
And that duality you're pointing out, that's something investors really need to chew on. You've got this incredible market enthusiasm, this strong price run-up, probably fueled by that future promise.
Right.
But underneath, there's this layer of caution about the financials right now. It raises a really important question for you listening. How sustainable is this kind of momentum without more concrete milestones?
Is it speculation or fundamentals driving it?
Exactly. It hints that maybe speculation is playing a bigger role than just the fundamentals at this point.
And the news flow seems to reflect that mix too, right? Excitement and caution bundled together, like Wedbush starting coverage.
Right. Back in December 24, they gave it an outperform rating, set a $26 target. The stock jumped over 14% on that news.
And the general analyst consensus seems to lean towards moderate buy or buy.
It does. However, a really notable thing is the huge difference in average price targets across different sources.
Yeah.
We saw ranges from $28 all the way up to $66.45.
That's a massive spread.
It really is. It just highlights how difficult analysts are finding it to agree on a near-term valuation. It underlines that uncertainty inherent in valuing a pre-revenue company in such a new sector.
And while some analysts are, let's say, cautiously optimistic, social media sentiment, according to that Fear and Greed Index, is actually leaning bearish.
Interesting contrast. And worth noting, no major insider buying or selling reported recently in the last 3 months, nor huge shifts in institutional holdings that we've seen flagged.
Okay, let's talk about the recent momentum because it's been pretty powerful. Back in July, reports were saying Oklo stock gained over 120% just in May.
Yeah, that was fueled by that broader pro-nuclear sentiment building globally, plus supportive government policies.
And it continued, right? A nearly 14% gain in the past month, largely driven by that U.S. military contract announced in June. That caused a 30% jump in a single day.
It's fascinating how quickly strategic news can move the needle here. And also, in July, they announced that partnership with Liberty Energy. The aim there is to speed up integrated power solutions, specifically looking at big customers like data centers.
Data centers are huge energy consumers.
Exactly. And that deal alone, reportedly, gives Oklo a pipeline representing over 14 gigawatts of potential partners, commercial and government.
14 gigawatts is massive potential.
It is. The key insight isn't just the size, though. It's the strategic validation it provides. Of course, turning that pipeline into actual revenue for a pre-commercial company, that's the big challenge. But it shows they're actively building future demand.
Definitely proactive. Then in August, they set their Q2 earnings call date, always a key moment for updates. And they also officially disclosed plans to potentially sell up to about $140 million in new shares, signaling they're tapping capital markets to fund that expansion in R&D.
And then just recently, in September, a really major step towards vertical integration. Oklo announced they'll design, build, and operate a fuel recycling facility in Tennessee. That's phase one of what could be a $1.68 billion advanced fuel center.
Yeah, that feels like a game changer for their model, owning the fuel cycle.
It's huge for enhancing their supply chain security and really reinforcing that unique value prop. But even as shares hit that all-time high, around $73.55, short interest also climbed up to over 16%. And some analysts are flagging that high cash burn rate again.
So that tension persists. Potential versus the burn.
Absolutely. It's the core debate.
Okay, so looking ahead, what are the key catalysts, things that could really move the needle for Oklo, short-term first?
Well, those quarterly earnings releases are critical. Q2 was August 11th. Q3 is expected around November 12th. Investors will be watching very closely for updates on reducing losses, managing that cash burn, and any progress on converting that strategic pipeline we talked about.
Makes sense. What else?
Other things. Major ETF rebalancing, like in September, that can sometimes introduce volatility as big funds adjust positions. Policy updates are always relevant here, too. Things like U.S. government reports or maybe Department of Energy nuclear grants, say in October, could boost sector optimism.
And we'll see updates on who owns the stock.
Right, institutional holdings disclosures later in October. That'll show if the big money is doubling down on the bullish story or maybe pulling back.
Okay, now looking longer term, the really big milestones.
The real game changers are getting to that first commercial revenue projected for fiscal 27 and then hitting profitability in fiscal 29.
Those are the big ones.
Absolutely. Successfully deploying their first plants or getting that fuel recycling facility fully operational, those could trigger a major re-rating, not just for Oklo, but maybe for the whole advanced nuclear sector.
And there's speculation too, right? Things that could happen.
Oh, definitely. We're seeing chatter about potential inclusion in ESG indexes, maybe more federal contracts, DoD or DOE, and even whispers about strategic investment or even a takeover by a larger utility down the line.
Which raises another question for investors, doesn't it?
It does. How much of the current very high valuation is already pricing in these potential future catalysts? That's something you really need to consider.
And regulations are key here, too.
Hugely important. There's discussion around maybe faster licensing for small modular reactors, SMRs, from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the NRC. Those compact reactors are Oklo's bread and butter. Any acceleration from the NRC would significantly speed up their path to market.
So Oklo's near-term path seems driven by this mix of partnerships, funding, earnings updates, institutional interest, all happening while momentum for advanced nuclear seems to be growing.
That sums it up well.
But let's pivot to the risks.
Yeah.
Because with all that potential, there are definitely significant downsides we cannot ignore.
Absolutely critical to cover these.
First off, the company itself, its early stage. Zero revenue, significant ongoing losses, almost $57 million TTM. That's risk number one.
And tied to that is execution risk. Huge execution risk. Any delays in getting commercial deployment going, or if they fail to scale the technology effectively, that could completely torpedo the bullish case.
Then there's the valuation itself. You mentioned it earlier.
Yes, that price-to-book ratio. Comparing market value to book value, it's sitting at 11.71 times. The sector median is around 1.7 times.
So Oklo's is almost 600% higher.
587% above the sector median, yeah. For a pre-revenue company, that's not just high. It signals the market is baking in an enormous amount of future success. It makes the stock incredibly vulnerable to any disappointment or setback.
And the broader sector has its own hurdles, too.
Definitely. The whole nuclear industry faces heavy regulatory oversight, ongoing public safety concerns, and it's just incredibly capital intensive, all things that tend to make progress slow.
Okay. So bringing all these pieces together, the potential, the financials, the stock action, the risks, what's the overall investment thesis here based on our sources?
Well, the overall rating we're seeing from the sources averages out to about a 5 out of 10, kind of right down the middle.
Interesting. So the positives.
On the plus side, you have an emerging leader in the nuclear space with genuinely unique tech, especially that fuel recycling. They have that healthy cash runway, giving them flexibility. Analyst views are generally constructive, if varied. And you can't ignore that recent strong price momentum.
Okay. And the negatives?
Equally clear and pretty substantial. No revenue or profit expected for at least a couple more years. That extremely high valuation for a pre-revenue business is a major flag. Significant uncertainty around execution and those regulatory timelines, and the stock is just inherently volatile.
So this analysis really seems to underscore that this is a long-term game.
Fundamentally, yes. It looks best suited for patient capital, for investors who understand the risks, can handle that volatility, and are willing to wait possibly years for those commercial milestones to be hit. Probably not ideal for short-term trading.
Right. So we come back to our main question. After digging through all this, what do you think? Is Oklo a good time to buy now for you? We've seen this company with, frankly, immense potential, a possible first mover in advanced nuclear and fuel recycling. It's got cash, strong recent market momentum, that military contract, the Liberty partnership.
And that incredible stock performance year to date, up 265% versus the S&P's 10%. Can't argue with those numbers.
You absolutely cannot ignore the challenges. Still pre-revenue. First meaningful revenue, potentially FY27. Profit, maybe FY29.
And that sky-high valuation PB ratio, nearly 600% above its sector median, reflecting huge execution and regulatory risks in a capital-hungry sector.
Analyst views are mixed, price targets all over the place. Social media sentiment leans bearish, despite some bullish analysts.
So yeah, our sources really frame this as a long-term play. It demands patience and a high tolerance for volatility while waiting for commercialization. Definitely not for short-term traders.
Okay, let's leave our listeners with a final thought to chew on.
All right. Considering Oklo's impressive market cap today, around $10.3 billion, which exists years before they expect any revenue or profit, what fundamental shifts, either in the advanced nuclear sector itself or maybe in broader energy demand, could actually justify that kind of valuation before the technology is even widely deployed?
That's a tough question.
It is. And how do you, as an investor, weigh that immense promise, that first-mover advantage, against the very real risks? The long, uncertain timeline of a pre-revenue company in a tightly regulated industry?
Yeah, it's definitely a question that requires some careful thought. not just a quick yes or no answer, something to really mull over